Have you ever noticed that there are certain people nobody seems able to control? Life hits them. People betray them. They lose relationships. They lose money. They fail. They get criticized. And somehow, they remain the same. Calm, focused, unshaken. It's almost as if nothing can reach them. At first glance, it looks like confidence, but it isn't. Confidence alone isn't enough, because confidence can disappear the moment life stops going your way. What these people possess is something much rarer. They are emotionally untouchable. That doesn't mean they don't feel pain. It doesn't mean they never cry. It doesn't mean rejection doesn't hurt. They're human, just like everyone else. The difference is that they never allow temporary emotions to become permanent decisions. Machiavelli understood this centuries before modern psychology existed. He realized that the easiest way to control a man was never through force. It was through his emotions. Make him afraid, and he'll obey. Make him desperate, and he'll chase. Make him angry, and he'll destroy himself. Make him seek approval, and he'll surrender his freedom without even noticing. Look around today. Entire industries profit from emotional dependence. Social media keeps people addicted to validation. Advertising convinces you you're incomplete. Relationships often become negotiations built on fear of abandonment. The world constantly rewards emotional reactions. Very few people ever learn emotional mastery. And that's exactly why emotionally untouchable people seem so different. Nothing about them feels rushed. They don't panic when someone ignores them. They don't collapse after rejection. They don't spend hours replaying conversations in their minds. They don't desperately chase explanations from people who have already walked away. Their peace isn't controlled by circumstances. It's built from within. Today, we're going to explore why Machiavelli believed emotional independence is the highest form of power. Why most people unknowingly hand control of their emotions to strangers every single day. How becoming emotionally untouchable changes the way people treat you. And why this may be the single greatest investment you can ever make in yourself. Because once nobody can control your emotions, very few people can control your life. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and discovering that nobody has the power to ruin your day. Not your boss, not your ex, not your family, not a stranger on the internet, not even failure itself. Most people hear that and immediately think, that's impossible, because from the day we're born, we're taught to connect our emotions to circumstances. If people praise you, feel good. If they criticize you, feel bad. If they stay, feel secure. If they leave, fall apart, little by little. Our emotional state becomes something we hand over to the outside world. And after enough years, we stop asking ourselves a very important question. Who is actually controlling my emotions? Machiavelli believed that the greatest victories rarely happened on the battlefield. They happened inside the human mind. Because once someone learns how to influence your emotions, they no longer need to control you physically. Think about how often this happens every single day. Someone ignores your message. Suddenly, your mood changes. Someone receives praise instead of you. Now you're questioning your own value. Someone leaves a negative comment. You replay it in your mind for hours, while completely forgetting the 100 positive ones. Someone cancels plans. And somehow, you begin wondering if you've done something wrong. None of these people touched you. None of them forced you to do anything. Yet, they changed your emotional state. That's power, not their power. The power you unknowingly gave them. The silent strategist understands something that most people never realize. Every emotional reaction is an invitation. The question is, who are you inviting to control your peace? One of the biggest misconceptions about emotional strength is believing it means becoming cold. People imagine an emotionally untouchable man as someone who doesn't smile, doesn't love, doesn't trust anyone. That's not strength, that's isolation. Real emotional mastery is completely different. It's feeling everything without becoming owned by what you feel. Imagine standing in the middle of a violent storm. The wind is powerful, the rain is relentless, everything around you is moving, but deep beneath the surface, the mountain doesn't move. That's emotional stability. Life will always create storms. The goal isn't stopping the storm, the goal is becoming the mountain. History gives us countless examples. Some of the greatest military commanders ever recorded suffered devastating defeats. Entire armies destroyed. Trusted allies betrayed them. Years of planning disappeared overnight, yet many of them returned stronger. Why? Because they understood a truth that modern psychology now confirms. Your emotions are information. They are not instructions. Fear tells you something matters. It doesn't automatically mean you should run. Anger tells you a boundary may have been crossed. It doesn't automatically mean you should attack. Sadness tells you something valuable was lost. It doesn't automatically mean your life is over. Emotion becomes dangerous only when it immediately becomes action. That's exactly what manipulative people depend on. They don't always need to convince you. They simply need to provoke you. A narcissist wants your reaction. A manipulator wants your anger. An insecure person wants your need for approval. Why? Because once you're reacting emotionally, you're no longer thinking strategically. That's why emotionally untouchable people frustrate manipulative individuals so much. Their buttons don't work. Imagine trying to start a fire, only to discover there's nothing to burn. Eventually, you stop trying. The same thing happens with emotional manipulation. If people can't pull you into drama, most of them eventually look for someone else. This doesn't happen because you're intimidating. It happens because you're unavailable to emotional games. Think about someone you've always admired, maybe a mentor, a leader, a family member, or even someone you've only watched from a distance. Chances are, one quality stood above the rest. They remained calm when everyone else panicked. They listened when everyone else argued. They observed while everyone else reacted. That kind of presence isn't an accident. It's built, day after day, choice after choice. One disciplined response at a time. I remember reading about an old Japanese swordsman who was challenged to duels constantly. One rival traveled for days just to insult him publicly. The crowd expected a fight. Instead, the swordsman simply listened. He smiled politely, turned around, and walked away. The crowd laughed at first. They thought he was afraid. Years later, people realized something profound. The swordsman had already won before the duel ever began, because the only person desperate to fight was the man trying to provoke him. The one who controls the emotional temperature controls the encounter. Machiavelli understood this. The Silent Strategist understands this, and every emotionally untouchable person eventually learns it. You don't become powerful by controlling every situation. You become powerful when every situation stops controlling you. That single shift changes everything. Your relationships become healthier. Your decisions become clearer. Your confidence becomes quieter, more authentic, more difficult to shake, because it's no longer built on praise or attention or approval. It's built on something infinitely more stable. The certainty that no matter what happens, you will not abandon yourself. There is a sentence that completely changed the way I think about emotional strength. It says, every emotional dependency becomes someone else's opportunity. Read that again, because that single idea explains almost every unhealthy relationship you'll ever experience. The moment another person realizes they control your peace, the balance changes. It doesn't matter whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, a business partnership, or even your career. The dynamic is always the same. The one who depends the most usually fears losing the most, and the one who fears losing the most often accepts what they should never tolerate. Machiavelli understood this long before modern psychology. He knew that kingdoms weren't destroyed only by stronger armies. Many were destroyed because their leaders acted from fear instead of clarity. Fear makes intelligent people irrational. Fear makes disciplined people impulsive. Fear makes confident people desperate. Nothing clouds judgment faster than emotional dependence. Think about someone waiting for a text message. At first it's harmless. They check their phone once, then twice, then every 5 minutes. Hours pass. Their mood rises and falls based on whether the screen lights up. Nothing in their external life has changed. But internally, everything has changed. Someone else now controls their emotional weather. That may seem like a small example. It isn't, because the same pattern appears everywhere. The employee terrified of disappointing his boss. The entrepreneur obsessed with public approval. The man who cannot enjoy a single day unless his partner seems happy. The woman who constantly changes her personality to avoid rejection. Different situations. Exactly the same psychological mechanism. The silent strategist sees this immediately. He understands that emotional dependence rarely announces itself. It disguises itself as love, as loyalty, as ambition, as kindness. But underneath, it's often fear. Fear of not being enough, fear of abandonment, fear of criticism, fear of standing alone. And fear has a strange habit. It always asks for one more compromise. Just this once. Send one more message. Apologize again. Explain yourself one more time. Ignore your boundaries today. Every compromise feels small, but together, they slowly build a prison. One where the bars aren't made of steel. They're made of approval. The tragedy is that most people don't even realize they're inside it, because society rewards emotional dependence. Think about social media. You post something, then immediately check the reactions. One notification makes you happy. Another comment ruins your mood. One stranger praises you. Another stranger insults you. Without realizing it, hundreds of people you've never met begin influencing your emotional state. Machiavelli would probably find that fascinating. Imagine giving complete strangers the authority to determine whether today is a good day or a bad one, yet millions of people do exactly that, every single morning. Emotionally untouchable people refuse to play that game, not because they believe they're better than everyone else, because they understand a simple truth. Attention is temporary. Approval is temporary. Popularity is temporary. Character isn't. That's why they invest far more energy into building themselves than managing other people's opinions. There's another reason emotionally untouchable people seem so attractive. They don't create emotional pressure. Have you ever been around someone who constantly needs reassurance? Someone who asks, "Are we okay? Are you upset with me? Do you still like me?" After a while, it becomes exhausting, not because they're bad people, because insecurity is emotionally expensive. Now think about someone completely different, someone who enjoys your company but doesn't depend on it, someone who appreciates your presence but doesn't collapse in your absence, someone who loves deeply without making you responsible for their happiness. That kind of person feels incredibly peaceful to be around. Why? Because they're carrying their own emotional weight, not placing it on your shoulders. That's one of the biggest shifts I noticed after studying Machiavelli, and one of the reasons I found the philosophy behind Dark Mind Protocol so compelling. The product isn't really about becoming mysterious or manipulating people. It's about removing the invisible chains that make you emotionally dependent on everyone else's reactions. It keeps asking the same question in different ways. Who owns your emotional state? If the honest answer is, my boss, my partner, my family, social media, then you still have work to do. Because true freedom begins the moment the answer becomes me. Not in an arrogant way, not in a selfish way, in a grounded way. A way that says, I will listen to feedback, I will learn from mistakes, I will care about people, but I will never hand them the keys to my inner peace. That's emotional independence, and once you experience it, you'll never want to go back. Because there's one final transformation that happens when you become emotionally untouchable. It's the one almost nobody expects, and it completely changes the way the world responds to you. Something extraordinary happens when you become emotionally untouchable. At first, nothing changes. You still wake up at the same time. You still go to work. You still face problems. Bills continue arriving. People still disappoint you. Life doesn't suddenly become easier, but something much more important changes. You change, and once you change, the world begins responding to you differently. Not because everyone suddenly respects you, because your behavior forces them to. Think about the people who have had the greatest influence on your life. Was it the loudest person in the room? Probably not. Was it the one constantly demanding attention? Probably not. More often than not, it was the calmest person. The one who never seemed desperate. The one who never panicked. The one who made decisions from clarity instead of emotion. That kind of presence is impossible to fake forever. Sooner or later, life tests everyone. You lose money, someone betrays you, a relationship ends, a business fails, you receive criticism you don't deserve. Those moments reveal something. Not your intelligence, not your talent, your foundation. If your identity was built on external approval, it begins collapsing immediately. But if it was built on internal discipline, the storm may shake you. It won't destroy you. Machiavelli believed rulers should always think beyond the current moment. They weren't supposed to react only to today's problem. They were supposed to protect tomorrow's kingdom. The same principle applies to your life. Every emotional reaction has a future cost. Every disciplined response has a future reward. Imagine two men. Both are publicly criticized. The first explodes. He argues, defends himself, posts angry responses, calls everyone who disagrees with him ignorant. For a few minutes, it feels satisfying. But what happens afterward? People stop talking about the criticism. They start talking about his reaction. Now imagine the second man. He listens, reflects, responds only if necessary, then quietly returns to his work. Weeks later, the criticism is forgotten. His discipline isn't. That's how reputation is built. Not by winning every argument, by refusing to lose yourself inside them. One of the biggest lies modern culture teaches is that every opinion deserves your emotional energy. It doesn't. Every notification doesn't deserve your attention. Every criticism doesn't deserve your response. Every invitation doesn't deserve your time. Emotionally untouchable people become incredibly selective about where they invest themselves. Not because they're selfish, because they understand attention is one of the most valuable resources they possess. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Spend it chasing drama, your life becomes dramatic. Spend it chasing validation, your confidence becomes fragile. Spend it chasing purpose. Everything begins changing. That's one of the strongest messages I found while studying Machiavelli, and one of the reasons Dark Mind Protocol stood out to me. The protocol isn't obsessed with controlling other people. It's obsessed with helping you stop surrendering control of yourself. That sounds simple, but it changes everything. Because once your emotions stop being controlled by other people's behavior, you become incredibly difficult to manipulate. Think about that for a moment. What could someone threaten you with? If they can't control your peace, what could they tempt you with? If your self-worth isn't for sale, what could they take from you? If your identity isn't built on possessions or approval, that's what real strength looks like. Not muscles, not money, not status. Those things can all disappear. Real strength is remaining yourself, even when life removes everything else. There's a quote that perfectly captures today's message. The strongest fortress is a mind that cannot be conquered from within. That's emotional invincibility. Not because nothing hurts, because nothing owns you. If you've listened this far, ask yourself one honest question. Who has been controlling your emotions lately? An ex? A difficult boss? A family member? Social media? The opinions of strangers? Now imagine how different your life would feel if none of those things could steal your peace anymore. That's exactly the transformation that emotionally untouchable people experience. And it's also why I believe the philosophy behind Dark Mind Protocol resonates with so many men. It doesn't promise to change the world around you. It teaches you to become the one thing the world struggles to shake: your own mind. If that's a journey you're ready to begin, you'll find the Dark Mind Protocol through the link in the description and the first pinned comment. Read it carefully, see what resonates with you, and decide for yourself. Because the most powerful decision you'll ever make is choosing that your inner peace is no longer something other people get to control. Before you leave, I want you to remember one image. Imagine two castles. The first is magnificent, tall walls, golden gates, beautiful towers. From the outside, it looks impossible to conquer, but inside, the foundation is cracked. One strong earthquake, and everything collapses. The second castle looks much simpler. No unnecessary decoration, no attempt to impress anyone. But its foundation is carved directly into solid rock. Storms come, wars come, years pass, and it remains standing. Most people spend their lives decorating the first castle. They chase status, approval, attention, recognition, success that everyone else can see. Very few spend time strengthening the foundation, their emotional discipline, their self-respect, their ability to remain calm under pressure, their capacity to walk away from what no longer serves them. Machiavelli understood something timeless. Every empire eventually faces storms. The question is never whether difficulty will arrive. The question is what your foundation is built upon. If it's built upon praise, criticism will destroy you. If it's built upon relationships, rejection will destroy you. If it's built upon money, Loss will destroy you if it's built upon other people's opinions. One negative voice will always have the power to shake your confidence. But if it's built upon discipline, character, purpose, and emotional independence, life may challenge you. It won't own you. That's what becoming emotionally untouchable truly means. Not becoming emotionless, becoming emotionally free. Free from needing constant validation. Free from chasing people who don't choose you. Free from explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. Free from allowing temporary emotions to dictate permanent decisions. That kind of freedom changes everything. Your relationships become healthier, your leadership becomes stronger, your confidence becomes quieter, more authentic, more stable. Because it no longer depends on applause, it comes from knowing exactly who you are. After studying Machiavelli, and after going through the ideas inside Dark Mind Protocol, one conclusion became impossible for me to ignore. The most powerful man isn't the one who controls everyone else. It's the one who has finally learned to control himself. Because once you reach that point, manipulation loses its power. Fear loses its grip. Rejection loses its sting, and other people's opinions stop determining your worth. If you're serious about building that kind of mindset, I genuinely recommend taking a look at Dark Mind Protocol. The link is in the description and in the first pinned comment. Read through everything, see what the framework teaches, and decide based on your own judgment. Because the entire philosophy can be summarized in one sentence. The moment your peace no longer depends on the outside world. You become a man the outside world can no longer control. If this video helped you see emotional strength from a different perspective, subscribe for more videos on Machiavelli, Stoicism, dark psychology, emotional discipline, and the timeless principles that build unshakable men. Until next time, guard your mind, protect your peace, and remember, the strongest fortress you'll ever build isn't around your life, it's inside your mind.